Hey guys, welcome to another one of the BACKPACKERGUIDE.NZ videos. Today we're going to be covering 14 free and cheap things to do in Christchurch. The town of Christchurch is pretty amazing. It's located in the South Island of New Zealand and it's a great base to explore the South Island. It's close enough to the mountains, close enough to the Banks Peninsula with heaps of wildlife. It's about 2 hours drive from Kaikoura, which is like wildlife mecca. There's like whales and seals and so many things, and the town itself is really interesting. There's a lot to discover there. There's plenty of beautiful gardens with heaps of colorful flowers, and well, there's plenty of free and cheap things to do. So we're gonna go over all of those right now in this video, so keep watching.
Number one on the list is go check out some of the Christchurch markets. If you haven't been to a farmer's market in New Zealand yet, then Christchurch is a really good place to start. They have a really awesome one that happens every single Saturday between 9 AM and 1 PM, and this takes place at the Riccarton House and Bush. And here you can pick up some local preserves, some produce, make yourself a really tasty meal in your hostel kitchen from all the fresh produce that you've just bought. You can also pick up some crafts and get some really awesome souvenirs to take home with you. And they often play live music at these events, so it's just a really awesome vibe to hang out for the morning.
Christchurch does like live music, that's for sure. Alright, number two on the list. Well, Christchurch is called the Garden City for a reason. There is really a lot of gardens. So to pick one out of all of them will be the Botanic Garden, which is right in the city center of Christchurch. It has so many different plants, amazing, beautiful, super colorful flowers, and a lot of water fountain, including some of them which are interactive. Like you can twist something and it makes some water flow from somewhere, and then he activates a guy which is kind of doing a motion. It is pretty weird, but it's fun to play with. And so yeah, this is totally free to do, so that's pretty awesome. And it's right in the city center of Christchurch, so you don't want to miss it.
Alright, number three on the list is the Canterbury Museum, and this is actually located right on the edge of the Botanic Gardens that Robin was just talking about, and the museum is absolutely free. So it's definitely worth checking out whether you're on a budget or not. Around the museum they have loads of different displays about New Zealand history, about the natural history as well, and they have some temporary exhibitions also. And we actually visited the Canterbury Museum during New Zealand's biggest gap year, where we did 365 days of 365 activities, and we'll make sure to link up to the video to when we visited that in the description below, so you guys can check out what that's all about.
Alright, next up on the list is Quake City. Now this one is not free, it's about 20 bucks, so it's still kind of cheap. And it's basically a museum or an exhibition that recounts the Christchurch earthquake that you guys probably have all heard about. It's a really interesting exhibition that puts everything in perspective, and so for this reason I kind of suggest my friends when they come to visit Christchurch to actually do that kind of first, so it helps you put things in perspective when you walk around or when you travel around Christchurch as well. It's a really cool thing to do. And by the way, let me just remind you that if you want more information about each of the points that we're making, we have an article in the description below called the 14 free and cheap things to do in Christchurch, and well, click on the link and get all the info.
Awesome. Number five on the list is to make a trip to New Brighton. This is a really awesome suburb in Christchurch which has a long stretching beach, and one of the highlights there is the New Brighton Pier. This is just basically a big pier which extends out into the sea, onto the sea, over the sea. You're not going to get wet. So you walk across and you can get some really awesome views from the pier, and even in the New Brighton area you can check out some pretty cool cafes and shops. And we actually do have a bonus article on BACKPACKERGUIDE.NZ, which is the 10 free and cheap things to do in New Brighton. So if you want to extend your budget trip in Christchurch and stay in New Brighton for a while, then check out that link in the description below.
Alright, number six, we have going on the Bridle Path walk. Now there is a gondola in Christchurch that goes up a little bit of a hill or mountain, and then you get a beautiful view of the city and the surrounding areas. if you're on a budget and don't want to pay for the gondola, well, and you have 2 legs, that works, you can actually take on that walk. It's about 3 hours return and it's totally free to do, and you get about the same views. It is really awesome it's a really awesome walk to do, and on top of that it gives you a lot of exercise, which is really nice.
Yeah, okay, number 7 on the list is taking the ferry to Quail Island. Now, over in the Littleton Harbour, you can get a ferry, which is around 25 New Zealand dollars, return on the ferry to a really interesting island with a very fascinating history, but a whole lot of bird life there as well. So the island used to be home to a leprosy colony or a leper colony, and also has a few funny sort of stories from the place, which we do have a video on actually, because we visited the island ourselves, which we'll make sure to link up in the description below. But there really has been a lot of stuff that's happened on this island.
It's a spooky place.
It is a spooky place, but other than that, it's got a lot of walking trails where you can access some really lovely places and some beaches as well, and there's a lot of bird life on the island. So yeah, it's definitely a really cool place to hang out for the day.
Alright, next one, we're going back right in the city, and we are talking about the Brookworth Street Art Gallery. Now, it's a gallery which doesn't have any paintings. It has brick walls and then people paint on the walls. It's not your average gallery, it's not your average museum, it's pretty cool to check out.
Alright, number 9 on the list is go and see a free gig at the Darkroom. Now this is a bar which is on St. Asaph Street in Christchurch, and every Wednesday and Saturday nights they do a free gig. So obviously you'll end up paying for drinks and stuff, but as long as you don't buy too many, you can still make it a fairly cheap activity to do. And on every I think it's the first Monday of the month, they have a sort of like magician's night, which is only about $10 to go to. They have a lot of sort of cool entertainment, like comedians and stuff there as well. So if you're lucky to be there on the first Monday of the month, then go check that out as well.
And if you want more info about that, same thing, click on the link in the description below, which sends you to the article with much more information about each of those points. Speaking of points, we are reaching number 10, and the number 10 is to go check out the 185 empty white chairs. Now this is a monument to the 185 lives which have been lost during the Christchurch earthquake. It's a very different type of monument, and it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, okay, number 11 on the list is visit Sumner Beach, because yes, Christchurch does have a lot of really cool beaches to check out, and Sumner is definitely one of the highlights. You can take a bus out there or drive yourself, and when you get there, there's really awesome surfing to be done, and there's also a really cool little cave like archway on one end of the beach. So definitely go and explore that. Best to explore at low tide though, because the tide sort of comes in when you're exploring the cave, which Robin and I have first-hand experience in. But also while you're there, make sure that you pick up a classic Kiwi fish and chips, maybe get yourself an ice cream as well. It's another way to spend a good cheap afternoon in Christchurch.
Alright, number 12, if you've got 10 spare dollars and are interested into these kind of things, you can check out the Air Force Museum in Christchurch. That's the New Zealand Air Force Museum. It is located in 45 Harvard Avenue. It's in the suburb of Wingram, and guess what? It's full of planes and of Air Force stuff. That's pretty much it. We have a video on it, and we probably will put the link on it. So here you go. Next.
Alright. Number 13 on the list is grab yourself some cheap eats. Now, like every city, Christchurch does have its fair share of cheap street food that you can check out, and because there are so many places to go, we have a full article on BACKPACKERGUIDE.NZ, which is the cheap eats in Christchurch. And yeah, you can experience food from all over the world in this pretty multicultural city, so that's another awesome cheap thing to do in Christchurch.
Alright, and lastly, we have number 14, and what goes very well with street food, it's street festivals. There is a lot of festival happening in Christchurch. It's kind of a place that just loves its art. There is street art, there is street food, and so they have street festival. One of the most famous ones is the world's Buskers Festival, which is quite cool, where buskers from all around the world come and perform in the street. You're not going to put a busker on the stage, right? And yeah, it's really cool to check out. There are a lot of events happening in Christchurch. It's much more dependent onto like what you are going to be able to do while you're there in Christchurch, but it's definitely worth checking out. So keep an eye on those festivals. And if you want to know more about festivals happening in Christchurch, check out BACKPACKERGUIDE.NZ. We have an article about that as well. Alright, so thank you very much for checking out this video. We have plenty more videos like this one coming out every single day, so make sure to subscribe to our channel, to click like, to click on the little bell. I think the bell does something as well. And if you do want to plan your trip to New Zealand, check out www.backpackerguide.nz. We put all our knowledge there, and it is the largest travel guide to New Zealand. Thank you very much, and bye bye!
See you later!